Hello everyone, today we're going to attempt to make baklava rosettes. I seen that they were a little bit easier to make, so we're going to try that. I got my phyllo dough sitting right here. Here's the box. It's organic phyllo dough. I just sat for about a half an hour and shelled pistachios because it just takes pistachios. So we're going to start the process. I have to get my food processor out to chop these up. And then I got to cut the phyllo dough in strips. And then you put a line of pistachio on a buttered phyllo dough. And then you fold it and then you roll it up in a rosette and put it in a pan. And you make a simple syrup. That goes on after you bake it in the oven. So we'll get started. I got to get my food processor out and we'll show you the process. Hey guys, got you over here. We're melting my butter that we need for the phyllo dough. And I grabbed out my 8x8 dish that we're going to put the rosettes in. I'll put it over there on the table. I haven't got my food processor out yet because I just want to get this butter started. So I'll grab it out and we'll start the butter and I'll show you how to chop up the pistachios. While my butter over here is melting on low, we'll put our pistachios in here and give it a pulse and pulse them up and get them ready. So just want to pulse them into little pieces. That's it. Makes it easy. We're all done. I'm gonna take it out and put it back into the same bowl. Why dirty another bowl? So our pistachios are all ready to go. After all that peeling, man, that made it it took me a while to peel all that. Just made a mess. Let me get something to grab the rest of this pistachio out into the bowl, because we don't want to waste any of it because we need all of it. There's just a little bit left, which isn't bad. And we'll use this spoon. I'll just put this right here and I'll clean this up later. Unplug it, and we will use this and this spoon to put on our phyllo dough after the butter has melted. So I'll put you back over there and we'll see you in a sec. Butter's over there melting. We're gonna cut it. I took about half of it off and put it on a cookie sheet with a towel over it. So I'm gonna cut big long strips out of it, maybe the leftover here. We'll just cut it, make it into strips. And we need one at a time, so I'll just start with this. And then I'll put the rest over on top over there. And when I need more, after I butter these up, one at a time, you have to do it singly. One at a time, you butter them. And then you make a strip of the pistachio, like 2 teaspoons right down the line, and then fold it, and then do another fold of a rosette. And I will show you. So I'm going to check on the butter and I'll be back. Butter is ready. I may have to periodically go, put it back on the oven as it's getting, if it starts to get hard again, to put it on the burner, but we'll keep an eye on it. So essentially you want to butter it up. I tried to make it as straight as possible, the lines. So put enough butter on them with a brush. This is the only brush I have. I don't have a paintbrush that would make it easier, but we're gonna go with it. And then make your line of pistachio straight down. Try to be a little bit nicer with it. And then you want to fold it over on itself. It's going to take me a minute to figure this out. Fold it over with the on top of itself, and then fold it again. And then you got your strip, and you want to start rolling it this way. Rolling it up like a rosette. I think I need to put a little bit more butter on it because it's starting to break a little, but I think it still will be okay. So there is your little rosette, and you just make them as much as you need in this pan. You just fill it up. I'm going to add a little bit more butter on this next one. You want to fill up the whole 8x8 pan. Hopefully we have enough of pistachios. I'll do another one here. We'll do a couple. I won't bore you with doing them all, just so you can kind of know what's going on or how to do it. They crack. Phyllo dough cracks really easily. I've never worked with it before, ever. So basically you want to saturate it. I'm just working on a cutting board. You want to save some pistachio for after you bake it too, for your on the top to make it look pretty. So it's kind of hard to get it in a straight line. Just do your best. Try not to overflow it. You just want to fold it on itself. Try not to crack the phyllo dough. It cracks really easily. I did not know that. Just kind of work with it. And fold it again, because you want to trap the pistachio on the inside. And then lift it up. I saw this on a TikTok and it looks simple. Maybe my rectangles, maybe my strips need to be a little bit longer, and I just seen a little piece of hair on my shirt and I don't want it to get in my food. You know, maybe a little bit wider my strips need to be. Just kind of work with it. Doesn't have to be perfect. You got that pistachio on the inside, rolled up inside of there. So there's another little rosette. This one's kind of broken, so I'm not going to use this one. Put it over on the side here. Next time I make a strip, I think I'm going to make them a little bit fatter and try to maybe to get the pistachio on the sides more. But this will be a nice little treat. So it's called like pistachio rosettes. It doesn't have any other nut in it except for pistachio and phyllo dough and butter, of course. Let me try to get it more on the edge here. Very difficult to work with. Pistachios are very good. Maybe I can turn this a little bit and work this way and turn it in. Just flip it in. Kind of seal it. And then fold it over again. And then just work your rosettes as you're keeping that sealed at the end. So I'm going to continue making these until the whole pan is full. Some of them are really big and some of them are really small. As you can see, I guess it doesn't matter. I mean, everyone gets a taste of one. So I will wash my hands off here and continue to make the pan full and get back with you. So I've made these a little bit wider and it's working out a little bit better. You just push it in a little bit more. It rolls like 3 times. Just be careful when you roll it. At the end there's a little tear there. And then I found if you butter up the edge here and then start rolling, and as you're rolling, gather up the edge, it does much better. So there's a rose. I've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 done. So it's going to be a slow process, but it'll be yummy in the end. And I got to make sure I get 1 sheet, not 2. I think some of these are 2, but if you can see through it, it's 1. So just get it really good, hit it really good with the butter, because they're starting to dry up over here. I don't want them to dry up, but they're starting to dry up. And then make a thin line of pistachio down there on them, like 1 spoon, a thin line. Try to do as thin as you can of the pistachio. There's like a little tear there, so I don't want to hit that one. So I'm just going to lift this up and bend it over. Lift it up. I got all this phyllo dough all over my hands. So just work with it. I already ruined one and had to throw one away. This one's ripped really bad. I'm going to try to save it. Just make sure you get all the pistachio on the inside. And then do 1 swipe of butter right across. I mean, your rosettes don't have to be perfect, as long as they're like rolled in a rosette and all the pistachio is inside. So I will continue and continue. So the fatter, the thicker the band is, the better it works. So yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna throw all these in the trash and get rid of this bowl over here, and I will continue and I will get back with you. All right, guys, we're down to maybe 1 or 2 more. We'll do 2 more. We'll squeeze in 2 more. So I got enough pistachio to throw on the top after we bake them until they're golden brown. I'll turn on the oven right now. I'll take the stuff that I need to take out of the oven and preheat the oven to 350. So we'll do that. We'll preheat our oven and I will finish these last 2. It's been a chore to make them. I've only destroyed 2 that were so unrepairable. So, and I've learned just to put one thin line, if possible, all the way down, maybe a little bit more at the end. And kind of work with the dough. Just fold it over. It cracks when you pull it half through, but when you fold it over again, you can kind of fix the problem. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. You just want to make sure that it's tucked in. You know, they're not going to be perfect roses. Don't forget to dab it with butter, because it really tends to dry out. And what I've been doing is trying to just swirl them and gathering up the sides, pinching it together. You'll have lots of pistachio taste throughout. So it's not a perfect rose like what I saw, but we got 1 more here. This one's all beat up, but I'll just try to make it work. with the last of the butter that we have here. Sometimes you can kind of tape it together. You can tell it's all cracked. I'm glad I'm doing this on my cutting board because I can just wash it off with soap and water. It'll be easy to do that. So this one's pretty cracked. I'm gonna try to save it. There's enough room for a little one down there. Even whatever we get out of it is what we get out of it. So let's just put it down on here. And I have enough to sprinkle on the top. Just want to fold it and make it that, and see it's tearing apart right there. Awfully bad, but I'm gonna make it work here. Just gather it up. It's really in rough shape, and I was upset about it last time when I got like this, but I'm going to twirl it as best as I can, and it will still cook into a little whatever it turns into. I just kind of put it in there. So some are really good and some look bad, but you know, it's all edible. So here we go. That's what they look like. Once the oven preheats, we will put it in there. And then I'm going to clean this mess up. And then we will make our simple syrup with honey and water. So let me wash my hands here. I'll just pour the extra butter that's in here over top. Can't hurt anything. Butter's good for you. The more butter, the better it tastes. Just remember, this is my first time ever making them, so I will clean everything up and I will get back with you when these are out of the oven and we make simple syrup. Or we can make the simple syrup while they're baking. So we'll come back. Over here we're going to make our simple syrup, which is 1 cup of water and 1 cup of honey, equal parts. Instead of sugar, we'll use honey. So there is our simple syrup. I'm going to heat it up on the stove. I'll bring it over there. When we do that, let's pour it in our pan. It might be too much syrup, but we'll go with it. I'll just not put so much in it. I just wanted to use honey instead of sugar because honey is a little bit better for you than sugar. So our oven is preheated. I'm going to put it in the oven for about 10 minutes and then check on it. Because I don't want them to get overcooked, so I'll put a timer for 10 minutes. And then we'll go over here and heat up the simple syrup. If you're wondering what's going on over here in my roaster, I'm in the process of making chicken broth and canned chicken for the basement. All right, I got you over here. We're just going to warm this up and let it set. Maybe warm it up and let it boil for a few minutes to thicken up. I know simple syrup is a little thick, so maybe that's what we'll do. I'll put it on medium and let it boil for a few while these are baking in the oven. Give it a stir and we'll just wait for it to boil. So I'll come back to you when that's done and when we take it out of the oven to pour the syrup on. Simple syrup is boiling. I'm basically gonna let some of this water steam out so it can get a little thick. It's starting to do that, so that's what I'm doing. Just letting it get a little bit thicker while that's baking. The timer hasn't went off yet. So I just wanted to get a little bit thicker. So basically, like I said, steam off some of this water. Take a peek at these. They're gonna need more than 10 minutes. We got 1 more minute left on the clock here. I'm gonna do it for another 10. They're just now starting to turn brown. And some of this water is steaming off. So when they're golden brown, I will get back with you and we'll pour the syrup on and the leftover pistachio right here on the top and let it cool, and then we'll try one. All right, I'm just gonna let that cool and wait for the pistachio roses to finish. This should be good. So I will be back. All right, these are brown on the top, golden brown. They're bubbling with butter like crazy. They're not sticking. They look like they're staying together. So I'm gonna pour some simple syrup over top. I probably won't use all of it. I just want to put some on it. I'll help thicken it up a little bit. It's actually steaming like crazy. That was less than half of it. And then the rest of the pistachios, I'm just gonna sprinkle on the top. When this is all cool, we will take one out and try one. Some of the roses are pretty, some of them aren't. It just got harder and harder as it was setting out. I'll have to learn how to use phyllo dough the right way, I guess. Maybe you're supposed to wet it down, have it on a wet cloth or something. But I do have some pistachio left. So I put this pistachio on the top. We'll let it cool and we will give it a try. All right, everyone, it's cooled down enough to take a bite. So I'm gonna take a bite and try it out. Wow. That's really good. Even though some of these are messed up, not perfect roses, I don't know. It's really good. The butter and the pistachio and that syrup on there at the bottom taste amazing. So, here's another Christmas recipe you guys can make. Hope you enjoy, and see you on the next one.